in the old world of education, you were rewarded heavily from being able to memorize and regurgitate. I would argue in this new world, the knowledge economy is kind of fading away, and your ability to memorize facts is becoming less important. And instead, what's replacing it is critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, a different way of thinking. So I would argue that kids cramming multiple majors and trying to ingest as much knowledge and information as possible is decidedly not preparing them for tomorrow's world. And I'm seeing it in the workforce and running my company. I have a 300-person startup, and the ones that are really excelling aren't necessarily the ones that have the most knowledge per se, but they're the ones that can think on their feet. They're the ones that look at AI as a tool to problem solve, and more importantly, are adept at identifying the problems that need to be solved. And that's really where I think a lot of people get AI wrong, is they get so very much obsessed with the tool, when I think the real benefit's gonna come to those who really focus on what's the core problem I need to solve in my business, and then focus on it, go step by step at a time until you have a solution. And that's how I kind of learned about AI, got my hands on it, and started to build solutions for myself that really got me inspired to write the book.
Michael Crow was making a very similar point, and I do wonder then what that means in terms of the value of soft skills.
Yeah.
And I guess, again, it goes back to education, but the value of soft skills and what that's going to mean for future jobs, which you have a pretty crazy stat. I'll let you break it down and then we'll dig into that, but we'll start with soft skills.
Well, I think soft skills are everything. If you think about, let's just say, a graphic designer, right? Say you work for an advertising agency and your mandate is to promote the F-150 truck, right? And in the past, if you wanted a photo of, let's just say, a dog riding the truck, drinking a soda in the sunset in Arizona, you'd have to figure out the right lighting, you'd have to get a photographer, you'd have to get all the production, everything together before you got that shot. But today, even if you use ChatGPT 4.0 image generator, you just have to give it the prompt, and if the lighting is not right, or the shadows are wrong, or you want what the dog is wearing around his collar to change, you just have to tell it and it'll change. And so what does that mean? It means what's the future role for a graphic designer or photographer or an editor of graphics? Probably not so strong, but for the person that has the idea to have the dog riding the pickup truck into the Arizona sunset, if you have that idea, which solves the problem that your customer needs, well, that's what's going to be rewarded. So it's very much about, again, identifying the problem versus knowing how to solve the problem. Knowing how to solve the problem is the areas that AI is really going to come in and do for you, but you still have to know how to put these new tools to work to drive yourself forward and your business forward, whatever that means.
So jobs, certain jobs, white-collar jobs, those are going away.
The knowledge economy jobs are going away faster than I think many of us think. You guys have all seen the headlines of Microsoft cutting 6,000 employees. I mean, there's a company making tens of billions of dollars of profit a year. And they say that the future's already here, it's just not evenly distributed. But where the future is distributed is to Microsoft, is to Alphabet, is to these large, incredible companies. And I think what's gonna happen next is you're gonna see companies that employ middle America, the FedExes, the Home Depots, the Walmarts of the world, coming in and saying, you know what, we've adopted AI. And instead of them cutting 6,000 people, they're gonna cut 50,000 people. And I think it's gonna be here before we know it. And I think it's gonna create, in the short term, just a lot of concern and a lot of pressure on American workers. The hope is over time that as companies become more productive and they bring more to the bottom line, that they're going to reinvest in innovation. But the question is, can the people who are originally on the wrong side of it reskill? Because I don't know if you've ever tried to teach somebody to be creative. It's not really easy. If you're not creative, you're kind of not creative. So my worry is that a lot of people, especially people who are a little bit later in their careers, might not have the ability to regenerate those soft skills, while the hard skills that they've developed over a career are no longer needed.